On Wednesday afternoon, there was a bombshell story that hit just about every financial news outlet. Six Flags and Cedar Fair were in merger talks. On the surface, you think, whatever, it's just another wild rumor, like when SeaWorld tried to buy Cedar Fair, or even these two pulling off the same merger 4 years ago. But the reports were, this wasn't just a rumor. This deal was close to being done. Apparently, the companies are afraid the economy is slowing down. People will spend less money on travel and entertainment, and if they join forces, they'll be better equipped to take on these challenges. These chains have about the same market value, and news of this merger drove up both their stock prices by over 5%. Then, on Thursday morning, it was official. Six Flags and Cedar Fair are one. This is a lot to wrap your head around, so let's start with what we know, and then explore the important questions that we still need answers to. The merger gives the new company 27 amusement parks. That's 11 from Cedar Fair and 15 from Six Flags. Not sure exactly what that last one is supposed to be, but there's also 15 water parks and 9 resort properties. Richard Zimmerman is the CEO of Cedar Fair and will become the CEO of the new company. Salim Basul is the CEO of Six Flags and he will become the new chairman of the board of directors. The new headquarters will be in Charlotte, North Carolina. The deal is expected to be done in the first half of 2024. I've seen reports of first quarter and second quarter, and Cedar Fair stockholders will own the majority of the new company at 51.2%. Six Flags stockholders will get the rest. This new stock will trade under the Six Flags name on the New York Stock Exchange, but it will use the Cedar Fair ticker symbol, FUN. Both Cedar Fair and Six Flags stock has been down in 2023, dropping about 10% of their value, and together they form an $8 billion corporation and consolidate the regional theme park market. They hope this will give them more resources to compete with Disney and Universal. Disney is investing $60 billion to expand their existing parks, and Universal is busy adding Epic Universe to Orlando, a new family park in Texas, and a Horror Nights attraction in Vegas. That right there leads me to believe they did this with investment in mind. How else would this merger help them compete with the big boys, unless that means they're going to spend to attract more guests? Some people are concerned about a monopoly. These are the two major chains in the regional theme park business, and that means they theoretically are in direct competition with each other, the way Coke and Pepsi are, or Ford and Chevrolet. But the thing is, how much are these two really in head-to-head competition? Those off-the-shelf products are in every store, those dealerships are in every city, but these parks are where they are, and there really isn't a lot of direct competition here. You got Knott's and Magic Mountain, Great America and Discovery Kingdom, King's Dominion and Six Flags America, Dorney Park and Great Adventure. Those are the only ones that seem to be remotely in competition with each other. These parks are more so in competition with other parks closer by, so I can't see how this merger can be stopped because it's a monopoly, or how this will necessarily be bad for the consumer on a financial level. I don't think price gouging will get this new company anywhere, but if they do offer a single pass to get into 27 amusement parks and 15 water parks, that'll cost more than we're used to, and that's perfectly justified. That brings me to the season passes, and that's the first thing I thought of when I heard about this. I love my Diamond Elite VIP Legacy membership for Six Flags. I get 50% off everything. I get 4 skip the lines whenever I visit a park. I get preferred parking, and I only pay a few bucks a month for the dining pass. I have to imagine this merger will be the perfect time to axe those legacy memberships and start offering a new package. That sucks for people like me, but won't necessarily be a bad thing for everyone else. We'll have to wait and see what they offer. Using competition with Disney and Universal as justification for the merger, one of the selling points for these two companies was adding more parks that can be open year-round. This is kind of funny because Cedar Fair just tried to open King's Dominion and Carowinds year-round in 2023, and they axed that plan for 2024. Cedar Fair doesn't have much to offer when it comes to warm weather climates and year-round operations. Just Knott's and California's Great America, however long that's still operating. Six Flags has Magic Mountain, over Texas, Fiesta Texas, and even over Georgia. Also, don't forget about Six Flags Mexico. This sounds like a better selling point for Cedar Fair than Six Flags. One thing both companies can agree on, this merger is supposed to cut their operational costs by $120 million in the first 2 years. Six Flags has already lined up $3.1 billion in financing for this merger. We know that Six Flags owns the IP for Looney Tunes and DC Comics, and Cedar Fair owns the IP for the Peanuts characters. They stated they will merge their IP portfolios, so we could start seeing traditional Six Flags theming at Cedar Fair and vice versa. You want to talk about a bizarre alternate universe? That's going to shock the senses. There's a whole lot that we don't know yet. It does seem like there will be an option to get into all the parks, but we don't know if they're going to have different tiers, benefits spreading across all the parks, and how much it'll cost. Again, don't freak out if it's a lot. Just consider how much you were paying for your Six Flags and Cedar Fair passes before. The cheapest option to get into all the parks as of 2023 is about $100 for Six Flags and $220 for Cedar Fair. So, if you get an all-access pass for $300 or less, you're saving money. What kind of fastlane or flash pass system they'll use, that's yet to be seen. I have to imagine they won't continue to use different systems, especially since both chains are into offering an all-parks option. They won't continue to segregate their parks this way, and they'll offer a single option. I hope this will also bring Frontier City, Great Escape, and Darien Lake into the rest of the chain, since they weren't allowed to use the DC characters and couldn't use the Flash Pass. Maybe this will be a more generic option that all parks can take part of. I don't think that Six Flags has any deals with restaurant chains that Cedar Fair can benefit from. They have Johnny Rockets, but Cedar Fair struck their own deal with them in 2001. That being said, Cedar Fair has a deal with Panda Express, Subway, and Chick-fil-A. It'll be very interesting to see if they start making their way into Six Flags parks. How else might these parks look different? You got some new IPs, some new restaurants, and a new skip-the-line system. Honestly, based on everything I've read, the common parkgoer won't even notice a difference. The parks are not being rebranded. They're only gaining access to more IPs, not losing them. And hopefully, all their parks see better investments and have more access to capital. There is one downside of that. With a massive portfolio of 27 parks and 15 water parks and 9 resorts, it makes their smaller parks expendable. I don't want to speculate which ones, but you can use your imagination. For the parks that remain in the new chain, I imagine the haves will continue to be the haves, and the have-nots will continue to get the shaft. The only difference will probably be what the haves receive. Lately, even the top Six Flags parks have been getting mid-tier investments. A small dive coaster for Fiesta Texas, a super boomerang for Great Adventure, a Raptor for Magic Mountain. Meanwhile, all the major Cedar Fair parks have a Giga Coaster. Maybe we start seeing bigger coasters at these Six Flags parks. Or maybe we start seeing family-friendly attractions that also cost a lot of money. Something like a trackless dark ride or immersive motion simulators. I think this can only be a good thing for the big Six Flags parks, but it might just be a lateral move for the big Cedar Fair parks. The only question for them is if they'll have to share more. They've been getting new coasters every 4 years pretty consistently, and with more capital going around, maybe that continues on. But maybe they'll get thrown into a longer rotation that will now include Magic Mountain, Great Adventure, Great America, and Fiesta Texas. Another big point to look out for is who these chains work with. We know that Six Flags had a major problem with Gerstlauer after the 2013 New Texas Giant accident, and the two haven't done business since. Cedar Fair does work with Gerstlauer, as we saw with Hangtime at Knott's in 2018. Will this new company bury the hatchet, or will they collectively box out Gerstlauer? Cedar Fair doesn't seem to get along with RMC, but Six Flags loves RMC. There are some major potential Six Flags RMC projects on the board, like the Boss at Six Flags St. Louis, Roar at Six Flags America, the Inevitable Raptor at Six Flags Great America. All that could be in jeopardy if this new company doesn't want to work with RMC. But on the other hand, it could also reopen the door to all those potential Cedar Fair projects, ones like Hurler at Carowinds or Timberwolf at Worlds of Fun. We also know that Cedar Fair has been shunning Intamin, while Six Flags just bought a new Intamin water coaster for Over Georgia. This is another relationship to keep your eye on. We also know that California's Great America was sold last year and has an expiration date. If and when that day comes, there are suddenly 15 other parks that will have their hands out for scraps. That suddenly became way more interesting, and I think Railblazer would look really good up the coast at Discovery Kingdom. So in the end, is this a huge development? Yeah, absolutely it is. Is this going to change our lives as enthusiasts? No, I don't think so. I can't wait to see how this all shakes out, what we lose and what we get, what it means for the future of every park, and hopefully we don't lose any in the process, but I bet that we will. Let me know what you think. What's on top of your mind when you hear about all of this? What you're excited or nervous about? And if you have anything else to add to the conversation, sound off in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here, please consider giving me a sub. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.